Is the universe pixelated? If you believe loop quantum gravity, the answer is yes. In physics, we tend to say that gravity is something called a manifold. It is smooth and continuous and therefore not made up of individual smaller bits. This means that gravity doesn't really fit the maths of quantum field theory and therefore the Standard Model. Firstly, quantizing gravity with the use of the graviton results in really weird and nonsensical answers, but fundamentally, the maths of quantum field theory assumes that the universe is flat. General relativity assumes that the universe is wavy and curvy, and that doesn't really fit together. Loop quantum gravity aims to fix both of those problems, and it does that by saying that gravity is quantized, but not as a graviton particle, but that it is made up of little loops of space-time that have a discrete size of the Planck length. These loops of space-time form a grid that we call a spin network, and that spin network then makes up what we call space-time in general relativity. For completeness, I should add this actually happens in 3 dimensions, not in 2 dimensions, but it's just easier to conceptualize what's going on in 2 dimensions than it is in 3. By doing this, loop quantum gravity actually eliminates the need for the graviton, which means if we don't find one, that's the source of evidence for loop quantum gravity. However, it does allow for a graviton as a pseudo-particle, which also means that it could be right if we find a graviton. Because loop quantum gravity describes space-time as loops as opposed to a continuous sheet, the equations for quantum field theory, and therefore the Standard Model, do work on the backdrop of quantum field theory. However, they're not baked into it. It isn't trying to answer that question, it's just talking about quantum gravity. As with string theory, there are some criticisms of loop quantum gravity, the first and most important of which being it's not experimentally verifiable at the moment. Nextly, and next most importantly, it's still uncertain as to whether or not with loop quantum gravity you can go from these individual discretized loops to a whole essential sheet of space-time that would work for general relativity. Finally, because loop quantum gravity addresses primarily gravity, and although the equations for quantum field theory do work on it, they're not built into it, some physicists have said that it's a sort of incomplete theory, and that's not the way that you should be going about doing quantum field theory and searching for a theory of everything. This has been video 5 of my Physics Beyond the Standard Model series, and although it's not strictly speaking a theory of everything, it is a direct competitor to string theory as a theory of quantum gravity, and it's been included in this because you can use the Standard Model on a backdrop of loop quantum gravity. Thank you for doing everything that you do here, and until next time, I've been Dr. Alex Foden, the Science Wrangler, and I shall see you one of these days.